This is part of a series of statues that Michelangelo purposely left unfinished. And they're part of a series that's sometimes called The Prisoners or The Slaves, but they were purposely left encased in the marble out of which they were being carved. They're beautiful. They're fascinating studies not only of his skill, but of the process of what it takes to actually carve a hard piece of marble into something that looks like real skin, like that you could touch it and you would expect it to give. Rachel and I took the kids over to Europe, and one of the places that we went was to Rome, and so we saw some of these statues, and we saw the David, and we saw many other pieces by Michelangelo, as well as some of the other great sculptors, and of course the great masters. And it's amazing to stand there and look at these pieces and to see how out of hard rock these things are carved. But listen to what Michelangelo says about every statue. He says this: in every block of marble I see a statue, as plain as though it stood before me, shaped and perfect in attitude and action. Now, like, he's looking at a huge block of marble. We're looking at a huge block of marble. He sees already the statue inside the block of marble. That's the way the Lord gifted him. And he says, I have only to hew away the rough walls that imprison the lovely apparition, to reveal it to other eyes as mine see it. That's the metaphor that I'm wanting us to borrow. You know how in coaching we use the client's metaphors all the time. Well, I'm going to ask you, if you want to borrow my metaphor for this weekend as you think about yourself before the Father as his masterpiece. That you whom he knew before he knit you together, and you in whom he placed certain giftings and callings, and they are still in the process of becoming, right? We're all always, hopefully, becoming. We're being called out to more, as Aslan would say in the Chronicles of Narnia, further up and further in, right? More and more of him, less and less of us, right? If that's the process that all of us are seeking to be about, if that's the process that we're called to as coaches, then it's about actually seeing something that exists, though on the outside it may look just like a block of marble or an unfinished block of marble. But it exists in its perfection already. I love that metaphor. To me, it's such a freeing way to come into a coaching session with a client knowing, I don't know what the masterpiece is. I don't have that same ability, but God does. And through his eyes, and if I allow his Spirit instead of letting mine get in the way, he will call it forth in something far more beautiful than I could have imagined, nor certainly ever advised, is going to begin to present itself.